Right, hi again. It's Tuesday and my bonnet looks okay. So I need a plan for today and a target. Primer's looking good, seals look okay. So I thought last night what my target was going to be for today, and I think the best thing to do is to flat the bonnet and get it into paint. It's about a third of the car in area, I should think. So I might as well paint it now, and then I can move on to painting the back end. The good thing with white is you're not going to end up with colour problems. I've got enough paint to paint the whole car, so it's all going to come out the same colour. So it's first of all duster coat the grey over it, or matte black over it, to give me something to sand to, and then a bucket of hot water, some wet and dry, and give it a good flat down. That's enough of a guide coat over it, so I'll be able to see where I've flatted and where I haven't. So I'll carry on with it now. No point in filming it because it's hours of tedious work, so I'll just get on. Well, 4 hours of block sanding and it's ready. Okay, wasn't full 4 hours. I did have a coffee break and I had a lunch break, so probably 3¼ hours of block sanding, and it's almost ready. What I've got to do now is wash it all off, dry it all off, go all over it with an airline and a tack rag. I've gone through in a couple of places, just little tiny breakthroughs. I'll just mix a very, very thin coat of primer up and just dust it over before I put the top coat on. So let's get it all cleaned up and ready and mix up some top coat. Now, while I'm waiting for my workshop to warm up and that bonnet to dry off, I've mixed up a little bit of primer in a small gun, just a very thin primer, just to dust over the couple of little spots that have gone through. And now I'm going to start with the paint. Now, this is my colour, and I've actually got 5 litres of it, but I asked for 3 litres to be mixed up in a 5 litre tin, so I had a bit of space in there to stir it. So get a nice clean stirring stick and give it a good stir. Now this has got to be used with 5:1 activator, which is a lot less than normal. Normally, most paints are either 4:1, so 4 paint to 1 hardener, or sometimes 2:1. 5:1, I've never used it as 5:1 before, except for when I painted the windscreen scuffle. Now, this paint, I must admit, does seem a little bit thinner than the last batch I had, because I mixed up the last batch with the 5:1 hardener and it went off okay, but the paint was a lot thicker and it was quite hard to spray. I had to put a lot of thinners in it, which meant I had quite a lot of thinners haze on the face of the paint. It'll polish off, but it wasn't quite how I like it. Now, there's no markings on these for 5:1, so instead you've got a scale, so I have to work out how much I want and do it 5:1. So yeah, so obviously it works out. It's going to need 80 of hardener. So I need to take there's no 80 marking, so I've got to guess it. So I've got 400 there, and then I've got 450 and 500. So I'm gonna have to go about in the middle, about 80 of hardener. So I'm going to mix up 2 pots at once like I did last time, and then that should give me enough, hopefully, to put at least 2 or 3 coats over the bonnet. I think 2 pots will just about do 3 coats if I put the first one on thinly. So stir, 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 stir. Not looking too bad. So, just rest that on there, keep it clean. So now I've got to do these 2 pots to 400 ml each. I'm going to mix them up and then show you. Now I've mixed these up with their 4:1 hardener, and they're still much too thick to spray. So I'm going to have to put quite a bit of thinners in them, but I'll do a little bit at a time and see what effect it has. Now this is a tack cloth. It's basically a sticky piece of cloth, and it captures any dirt, dust you've got on the bonnet or on any panel for that matter. So what I do is I use the airline and the tack cloth and just wipe all over the panel just to get rid of any dust and dirt that's there. Oh, that's 2 coats on, and it's not looking bad at all. I'm quite pleased with it. Tiny bit of orange peel, but nothing bad. No worse than a brand new car. It'll flat and polish nicely. I'll show you the seal. They're looking pretty good. Quite happy with them. Nice gloss on them. They look all right. Bonnet, once again, lovely gloss on it. It's looking really nice, except I did get a drip somewhere there. Can't see it now, but there is a drip there somewhere, but that'll polish out. But the rest of it, no runs, and I think it's looking quite good. So we'll let this coat, this is a second coat, we'll let this dry off, and then well, let it tack off, and then I'll give it a 3rd coat. There's enough in the gun to give it a 3rd coat, and that should be fine. Second coat's tacked off nicely. I put a bit of warmth on, so time for the 3rd and final coat. Well, there you go, 3rd coat on. It's looking pretty good, quite pleased with it. It's not bad for spraying in a dusty, dirty garage. There's very little dust in it. 2 jobs I'm going to do over the summer is 1, level and seal this floor, because it's rough concrete and it's impossible to sweep up. And the other thing I'm going to do is put some decent lighting in so I can see when I'm spraying, because I can't see a thing I'm doing. Okay on the sides, but on the top, just can't see what I'm doing. So I'm quite pleased with it. I think it's come out pretty good. So we'll see what it looks like tomorrow. So Tuesday's target, was get the bonnet painted. Bonnet's painted. Thanks for watching. Well, welcome to Wednesday. Another day. It's bitterly cold today. It's back to minus. It was only about +2 when I came in the workshop, so I'm going to fire the gas blower up. I've had to think about it overnight, and I'm going to set a 2-day target now, which is going to be clear this all up, get it demasked, and spend 2 days prepping the rest of the car, flattening it down. The door's done already. I've got the sills, the 2 back wings, the rear scuttle, the back wing, the door shut on the other side, and the boot lid and the front panel all to flat and get ready for paint, and they might need minor rectification work. So 2-day target to take me through Wednesday and Thursday is to get the rest of the car ready for paint. Right, I've decided on a change of plan. Taking the doors off, I was thinking of painting them on, but it's too awkward getting around them. So I'm just going to rub down around the door shuts, both sides, mask it up. Going to get the doors cleaned up. They're all rubbed down ready. Going to get them cleaned up, and then I'm going to paint the shuts and the doors back to here, and then I can remask with a feather edge and paint from there round. I'm just working my way around bit by bit. It seems to make more sense, and I like getting bits done, so that's what I'm going to do. Before anybody makes any comments about how scruffy my bulkhead is, I know that's a project for next winter. What I'm going to do is get the car all smart outside, inside, get that all done, and then next winter I will take the engine and box out and all the bits in the engine bay, and I'll do all of those, and I'll probably get underneath on the pit and do all the chassis as well, without taking it off the car. I found out why this car is in such good nick. It's absolutely saturated in wax oil, all in the boot, and it looks original old wax oil, but it's everywhere. It's why it's not rotted. Absolutely covered in wax oil, and it seems to have worked. So that's a project for next year, that bit. So we're not going to worry about that bit this year. Okay, got all the shuts rubbed down, cleaned down. I found a little bit of rust here, just a tiny bit of surface rust, which I've ground out and treated with a bit of rust killer. Other than that, I've now got to mask it all up, but I'm having a cup of coffee first. I'm suffering a slight lack of enthusiasm today, mainly due to, and a lot of you older guys will know this, went to bed just after 10, woke up at 1 o'clock, wide awake, ended up getting up, watching other people's YouTube videos for a couple of hours, and went back to bed at 3. And then when I had to get up at 7, I didn't want to. So, but that's what happens when you get older. You can't sleep all the way through the night. So I'll have a cup of coffee and a chocolate biscuit, dig up a bit of enthusiasm, and then we'll get it masked, and I'll get these bits painted. Well, that's not something I do very often, change my mind halfway through the morning, but I'm glad I did. I feel like I've got much further ahead now. Got my doors painted and I'm quite pleased with them, they're looking quite good. Colour looks different on this one because the door's open, but no, they're looking nice. I've got my door shuts all painted, so they're ready to go. So all I've got to do tomorrow, he says, is flat the back wings, the rear deck and the back wing on this side, which shouldn't take too long. And then I can get the back end painted, and then I'll just have the odd bits, the front and rear panel, the boot lid and the rear quarters to do. So it'll almost look like a complete car tomorrow night with a bit of luck. So yeah, pleased with how it's gone today. So leave it overnight to dry and then get on with the rest. That'll be the end of this one. Thanks very much for watching, and thanks to those of you that give me a thumbs up at the end of it. It's much appreciated. Cheers guys, bye.